All right, welcome back. Yes, welcome back. We could say that now.
Welcome back, yes.
To the Fantasy Football After Hours show numero dos.
What is up, Alex? What is up, people?
Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Today is February 11th, 2020. Show number 2, like previously mentioned. Awesome. Welcome in. My name is Alex. I am here joined by Oscar.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Hopefully.
How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing great. Just had our first show last week. Lots of good feedback. So
lots of good
loving
feedback.
Loving it. How was your weekend? Or how was your week? Did you have a good week?
I had a good week, bro.
Good week.
Really good week.
Same. Prepping for this next one.
Yes.
Yes. Prepping for this one. All right. So if you're new here, this is the Fantasy Football podcast, Fantasy Football After Hours. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FF After Hours, and check out the YouTube at Fantasy Football After Hours, where soon we will be posting video of our podcast as well. But for now, we are uploading the audios. For those of you who do not have access to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because our show is now live on both those platforms, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. On Apple Podcasts, be sure to subscribe and leave any comments and rate us as well. That way we can feed off the feedback that you give us and improve the show as we go on. Same thing on Spotify. Be sure to follow the show. That way you are notified when it is that we upload or post a new show onto both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And on YouTube, click the bell. That way you're alerted for when we post the audio version.
Yes, sir. I like it, man. So exciting, man.
Very excited. Yeah. And then we are working on putting it more on more podcasting platforms. We know there's Google Podcast, what else? Stitcher, I'm pretty sure is another one. We're going to be working on it to put them available across multiple platforms. So that's that for introductions. Let's just go ahead and let's get to it.
Let's
Ready?
get started, brother.
All right. So with the NFL season over, there is a new football league in town. It is the XFL.
Yes.
Have you heard of it?
Yes. Shouts out to the Los Angeles Wildcats, bro. I like it, bro.
It's very interesting. I did catch a good amount of all of the games over the weekend. First thing off the bat that I thought was very interesting was the kickoff. Did you see the kickoff?
I liked it, bro. I saw the kickoff honestly, and that they the kicker's all the way in the back, and then the starting line.
They're literally 5 yards, and they can't move until the returner
catches the ball and starts running.
The ball. Or if the ball has been on the ground for 3 seconds, I think.
And then they did that new rule where the ball gets kicked out of bounds. The other team starts on like the 45.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I saw that when the LA team played the Houston team. Yeah.
And then also new thing that I saw was the point after attempts.
Yeah.
You will, for 1 point after, you can start from the 2-yard line. 2 points, it's from the 5. And I believe for 3 points, a 3-point after attempt is from the 10-yard line. You have to run a play. So I don't think kicking after the touchdowns is a thing anymore. I don't think you could go for the kick. It's either 1, 2, or 3 from the 2, 5, or 10. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Do you see any of these rules or things that are being done in the XFL being translated over to the NFL possible in the future?
Possibly with the kickoff. I really like how the kickoff is done in the XFL.
I was going through the Twitter, and then a lot of people were actually like they were fans of the kickoff.
The kickoff. I think it's cool.
They liked it. It's a very interesting thing.
Because in the NFL, you see the kickoff, and it's like, oh, touchback. Oh, the kicker has a strong leg, and he just.
It adds another element to the game,
yeah.
It gives I feel like it gives an opportunity for more returns, giving it an even chance instead of having the kicking team have a running start and then
the ball getting placed at the 20.
Or exactly. So
it's like
it was very interesting to see. One question that I was watching it with a buddy of mine on Sunday, and he was interested in knowing how this will, not the rules, but like the actual players in the XFL will affect the NFL. One thing that was talked about during that conversation was drafts, essentially. Players coming out of college and going to try to go into the NFL, say, would they opt out of an NFL combine or the NFL draft to go into the XFL, which is, it's pro football in itself, but it's just a different league.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing to have seen, as far as
it's an interesting point.
As far as
brought up.
Exactly, as far as how college players, of course, the XFL is not the NFL. You know, there are only 8 teams in the XFL, bringing out only 4 games a week. It is supposed to be a faster pace, but also I was while watching it, the commentators were saying that a lot of these players were prepping for the NFL draft. So it's like saying they're maybe seeing this as an intermediate step between college football and the NFL to see how they will do or anything like that. And I'm pretty sure NFL teams, after seeing some kicks, some receivers or anything, are going to be like, oh, let's go sign him for more money, type of thing.
Right.
Because another thing I was listening in is that they were saying that a player on a team, I don't remember who, but the team was actually aware that he was wanting to go into the NFL draft, so they knew he was leaving the team mid-season. So I thought that was interesting, how like players would leave teams mid-season to go into the NFL.
Oh, and they would allow that?
They would allow it because,
okay.
I don't know how their contract situations work. I don't know. But it was very interesting to see. A lot of people, even I saw Troy Aikman. He was at one of the games, so it was very interesting to see all these like NFL royalty, quote unquote, and other players actually enjoying the game. It was very enjoyable to watch. It wasn't like boring.
Yeah, right.
It already surpassed, like, this first weekend surpassed ticket sales, I think, for the whole AFL or AF something, the other league that dismantled.
Okay,
something like that. But it was very cool. So very interested to see where that goes. All right, so that's that with the XFL. Did you see Dez working out?
Yeah, I did see Dez working out. He's looking good, man.
Is he getting signed?
Not by the Cowboys.
Not by the Cowboys. Where the last we heard of Dez Bryant, he was with the Saints.
Yeah.
And I believe he was signed in the off season, and then he tore his.
He got injured. He tore his calf or
something. He got injured and he was out. So that was the story with Dez. So it was very, very interesting to see. He did look good on those in those videos. The ball did seem to be being thrown a little behind him, so maybe he needs a better quarterback.
Right.
Working him out. Kaepernick. Dez team up. Who knows?
Now that you mentioned, like, he was originally, he was with the Saints, or like they signed him, I thought that was going to be really good for him because of Drew Brees throwing at him. Drew Brees is a really good quarterback, but then again, they have Michael Thomas. Yeah. They don't really need Dez.
They don't. But hey, I'm pretty sure I could think of plenty of teams that need help at the receiver.
Oh, definitely, especially with someone experienced like Dez Bryant.
Experience of that. Yep, exactly. Okay, so from there, we'll go ahead and jump into some more news with free agency. Most notably, today will be a quarterback show. We'll be discussing the top 10 quarterbacks of the 2019 fantasy football season. So we'll be covering free agents or soon-to-be free agents in the quarterback market. Most notably, and I feel like the one that's been getting the most drama and most eyes to this first player, Tom Brady. We discussed him last week. Where is he going to play for the 2020 season? Apparently, it came out that he is going to be testing free agency. So he will allow all 31 teams to, what you got for me, essentially, for Tom Brady, before meeting with the Patriots and seeing if the Patriots can offer him something that the other teams weren't able to. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. But do you think the Patriots will always have a higher bid?
I don't know, because ultimately what I've been hearing and reading is that it is Robert Kraft wants Tom Brady. The owner of the Patriots, he wants Tom Brady. But at the end of the day, he's saying he's leaving the decision up to Belichick. It's going to be up to him whether the Belichick believes it is in the team's best interest to bring back Tom Brady. And then obviously with Brady going into the free agent market, that means the Patriots are going to start looking to, okay, say Brady does leave, who are we picking up? Or
that's the real question. If Tom Brady leaves the Patriots, well, who's going to be the quarterback for the Patriots? Are they going to have to draft someone? Are they going to pick someone up? Teddy B.
He's we'll bring him up in a few seconds, but Teddy B, that would be a pretty cool landing spot for him. Along with Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, it came out that he had moved his whole family to Florida a few weeks ago, but no news had been made yet. And then yesterday it was made official that the Los Angeles Chargers and Phillip Rivers had mutually agreed to part ways, and Phillip Rivers will no longer be coming back to play with the Los Angeles Chargers. What were your reactions when you found out?
I thought it was really good for the Chargers to finally part ways with Phillip Rivers. I think it's about time that they get a new quarterback. I want to see a star in Los Angeles Chargers quarterback. I'm not a big Los Angeles Chargers fan, but they could do better than keeping Phillip Rivers. You know, there's a lot of potential coming up with the new with the draft this year. They could get a new quarterback there, or they could get someone off of free agency as well.
Exactly. Are we talking a Brady Rivers swap?
Oh,
excuse me.
I didn't even think of that. But
that'd be interesting to see, because Rivers he's still a good quarterback. He's not he's made mistake. He does what he had so many interceptions. Rivers is like your average quarterback, but he still gives you that upside because he loves to throw the ball. So as fantasy players, we want to see our quarterback throw the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, please without the interceptions. That would be much appreciated.
Bringing back to what you said about the swap, I don't think it'd be a direct swap, because I think the Patriots would end up losing on that. A direct swap,
I don't think it's gonna.
There's gonna be thrown some pigs.
Yeah.
An extra player.
I don't think it'll be a trade. I'm saying the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers sign Tom Brady as a free agent, and then the Patriots sign Phillip Rivers as a free agent.
That'd be interesting.
So real quick, before we get into the top 10 QBs for the 2019 fantasy football season, I want to play a little game with you. I will give you a list of quarterbacks who are scheduled to hit free agency in about a month, I believe, is when the free agency window opens, or whatever it's called. That is when it will begin. So all you need to let me know is, what do you think is going to happen if the player will leave or if the player will stay? Simple?
Leave or stay.
Or stay. That's what we're doing. Leaving or staying. So from top of the list, start with the Patriots. Tom Brady, is he leaving or is he staying?
Leaving.
All right, with the Los Angeles Chargers, Phillip Rivers, leaving or staying?
He's leaving.
Drew Brees from the New Orleans Saints, is he leaving or staying?
That man is staying, bro. He's not going anywhere.
Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys, leaving or staying?
I saw something where it said that the Cowboys might have wanted Tom Brady.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't remember where I saw
cutting
it.
Ties with Prescott?
But I don't think that's going to happen, so I'm going to say Dak Prescott stays. He's the face of the Cowboys.
All right. From the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill, leaving or staying?
He's staying.
Okay. From the Tennessee Titans, Marcus Mariota.
He's leaving.
He's leaving.
Yeah, Tannehill showed he could do it. They don't need Marcus Mariota.
Dude, Tannehill's return to not greatness yet, because we're not going to judge he's great off of one game, but his player, him as a player, he has made a complete 180.
Yeah, seeing him in the Dolphins
the Dolphins washed up, didn't do anything for so long, comes to the Titans, takes over, takes them to the AFC championship game. That man is staying. I agree with you on that one. Staying. All right. So we went with Mariota. Yeah, he's out. I actually here. I was reading in some articles and they were saying that Mariota to the Bears.
Huh.
Trubisky getting benched or letting go. Although the organization keeps saying they're going to stick with Trubisky, it's like, dude, Trubisky isn't a good quarterback. Get him out of there.
So you think Mariota's a better quarterback than Trubisky?
I do believe Mariota is a better quarterback because Mariota has proven it already.
Yeah, I think he's a good quarterback.
He's done it already. Obviously he hasn't done it in the recent season or two, and Trubisky's only been in the league 2-3 years, 2 years, I believe. He hasn't shown anything other than a subpar performance. And then three more actually. Jameis Winston from Tampa Bay, leaving or staying?
He's staying.
Staying. Teddy Bridgewater from the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater. Yes. Okay.
Teddy B. I think he's leaving.
I
think he's leaving to where?
Patriots.
The Patriots.
We'll see.
The Patriots or the Chargers. We'll see. But
Get
I like him at the Patriots. I think he'd be a really good player at the Patriots.
Very interesting to see. And the last one for right now, or for this segment, I guess. Case Keenum from the Washington Redskins.
Who?
They have Case Keenum. I'm gonna go for this one. I'm saying he's leaving only because they have Dwayne Haskins there. They drafted him last year, rookie quarterback. I don't think it matters too much, but think of it as on a fantasy outlook. What is Terry McLaurin? Very speedy receiver on that team. We saw in the first few weeks.
Scary Terry.
Scary. That's what people refer to him. Yes, people. You see him with the first few weeks with Case Keenum. McLaurin was going off. Keenum gets hurt. In comes Haskins. He has show up, no show performances. So we just have to see how Dwayne Haskins develops from this past season, and then if Case Keenum ends up staying, then
I think they'll probably keep him for one more year and see how
that works.
How Haskins works. And if things don't work out with him, they'll just sell him because he is a young quarterback. I'm pretty sure someone would want to bid for him.
Makes sense.
Yes, sir.
And that is the end of that fun little game.
I liked it.
We'll probably do one for next week for wide receivers as well. Let's do it. We'll do it.
Let's do it.
Wide receivers and then for the next song. Okay. So now we will be talking about the top 10 quarterbacks from the 2019 fantasy football season. So whether you know how they did in actual NFL, it doesn't matter. We're talking strictly fantasy as to how they performed. And at number one, I think is a shocker to all of us. It's a shocker to all of us. We got Lamar Jackson. Who would have seen this coming? Not me. Everybody saw this coming. Lamar Jackson was an absolute beast at the quarterback position. Go ahead and read off his stats, Oscar.
Let's see. Let's read this off. Amazing stats. Let's see this. Passing yards, 3,127 yards.
Wow.
Bro, that's not even enough. Let's see. Touchdowns, 36 touchdowns.
36 touchdowns.
Bro,
wow.
6 interceptions.
Okay.
And that's not even
31-6. Not bad.
Bro, that's just his passing. Let me tell you his rushing. Bro. 1,206 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns. Unbelievable, man. Chico.
Those are running back stats or quarterback stats?
You tell me, bro. Hey, his passing yards, though, pretty good for a running back.
Pretty good for a running back, eh? Yeah, there we go. And then what was his point total for the season?
Yes, sir. His points were 415.68 fantasy points.
And that took him all the way to being the number one.
And took me to the semifinals.
Took you to the semifinals where I, myself, Alex here overcame. Not only did you have Lamar Jackson, bro, you had Mark Ingram.
Yeah, let's not talk about that, bro.
I overcame the Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram stack, and that will forever be my greatest accomplishment of the 2019 season. Not winning the league, beating you with that stack will be the greatest achievement.
Bro, we're talking about Lamar Jackson right now, please.
All right. Lamar Jackson. All right. So his lowest fantasy points total came in week 5 where he scored 14.4 fantasy points. And after that, you had nothing lower than 20 points. The closest came in week 14, 20.8. And his highest was at week 12. Or no, just kidding. Week 12 was 36.3. Week 13 was 37.1.
Ridiculous.
And from there, it was essentially he averaged a total of 28 points a week. Wow. Now that is it'll get you to I don't know these by memory. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. There it is. Oh man.
We'll still work on that, bro.
We're working on it. That doing that will get you to the obviously number one. Now, do you think he repeats?
Repeats.
Because keep last season, who was number one? Patrick Mahomes,
Okay.
right? Did he and everyone was saying Patrick Mahomes was going to be? He's definitely
that he was going to repeat. That he was going to do it again.
He didn't perform
didn't do it again
at all. I mean, he did great.
He won a championship.
He did great, but as for fantasy purposes, he didn't repeat. Now, Lamar Jackson, will he repeat?
That's a good question, and I don't think he'll repeat. This is a bold statement. I don't think he's going to repeat. I don't think he's going to have a bad season.
Yeah, exactly. But
I don't think he's going to be number one again.
That's what I was going to get at. Just because we think that he's not going to repeat these numbers doesn't mean he's going to have a bad season. I'm pretty sure he's still going to have an exceptional season. He's still going to be drafted as probably the first quarterback off all your draft boards. He's still going to be the quarterback everyone's going to want. The team in itself scoring all those touchdowns, it can't be sustained. I don't think it can. So the team as a whole is gonna regress. They're all they're still gonna.
It's just by nature. It's not even that they're gonna be doing bad.
Exactly. I mean, hey, and if they do go out and they do the same or better,
that props to them. That's
please
kudos.
prove me wrong. Yeah. And I hope I drafted you.
I hope I'm wrong.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. But yeah, Lamar Jackson.
I think if Baltimore could get another receiver, another strong receiver, slot or outside receiver, doesn't matter. I think it would help Lamar Jackson a lot because they're very powerful at the running back position. Yes. Mark Andrews, very great tight end.
Yes.
Thanks to Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they
need
Baltimore
help.
Ravens could do a lot better and the wide receiver position.
They need a receiver because I believe his most thrown to position was the tight end, correct? To Mark Andrews.
Yes.
Yes.
Mark Andrews was his top receiver.
Mm-hmm. So having a receiver, someone that could be on the outside and that slot down the field, I feel it would benefit Lamar Jackson. And hey, maybe even being able to sustain this kind of performance that he did.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any more to be said about Lamar
MVP.
Jackson, the MVP of the season of the NFL. He is a beast. All right.
Just watch some tapes and you'll see.
You'll watch it. Yeah, because honestly,
it's almost
week after
man.
week,
yeah.
man. This guy would just do something insane. You'd literally think you're watching a Madden game, Madden highlight or something, because the stuff he would do. All right, so number 2 from the Dallas Cowboys.
Surprisingly, looking back at this, I was not expecting this. Number 2.
Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys.
Crazy.
How did he do?
His passing yards was a total of 4,902 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. His total fantasy points was 337.78 points.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about his rushing yards, they were okay for a quarterback, 277. With 3 touchdowns, so
all right. And at the quarterback position, those rushing yards and rushing touchdowns are very, very valuable, especially if you're in that standard scoring league where passing touchdowns for a quarterback are worth 4 points, and the obviously rushing touchdowns are still worth 6 points.
Yeah,
a pop. So his finishes, they were, for the most part, they were decent. He had 2-3 pretty low weeks. He had week 4 finished with 8.6, week 12 7.9, and week 16 at 11.3. His average was a 22-point week. So you weren't when you played him, you were obviously hurt. Scoring less than 10 points.
You had that low floor,
very low floor. I mean, I wouldn't even say his floor. Those were just very dud weeks, because then he had a few weeks where it ranged between 17 and 22 in those ranges, and then those great weeks where he performed, amazing. Week 1 he finished with 33. Week 11, 31. Week 17 week 17, 29 points. So he had weeks that hurt you. Not many of them. He had weeks that, got you by, and then he had those game-winning weeks that if all you needed was a quarterback performance.
Yeah, but that playing the matchup, that's what you would, because I'd be surprised if not saying I would have Dak Prescott. I wouldn't be expecting Dak Prescott, 30-point game. Mm-hmm. No, I'd be expecting him 20-point game.
Yeah, Prescott, you definitely played the matchup.
19-point game, I wouldn't be shocked. I would that's what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
But then I get what was his lowest? 12, 13, that's when I 8, throw my phone and be like, what the heck,
Right, that makes sense. Should
have played the matchup better.
Now, he finished as quarterback 2. Does he repeat next year?
No, sir.
There are too many quarterbacks.
No. I'm just surprised that he finished number 2. So I don't.
I mean, I feel like it has a lot to do with his consistency, because you do have quarterbacks from here on out, or from aside from Lamar Jackson, so behind Dak, 2 through 10, that had just weeks up and down, up and down. Dak, he had a pretty consistent year. Giving you those weeks when you needed a win. If you played the matchup correctly, he was there.
Correct.
Yeah, there are definitely other quarterbacks that I will take before drafting Dak Prescott.
Most definitely.
So moving on to number 3, from the Seattle Seahawks, Mr. Russell Wilson.
Yes, sir. You want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. His passing yards, 4,110 yards, 31 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, finishing basically. Let me see real quick. Just to, bro.
All right.
My fault.
You're good.
Whatever. 5 interceptions. Final fantasy points, 328.60 points.
328.60 points. Russell Wilson was on a hot streak at the beginning. He was performing week in and week out. His highest actually came in week 3, where he posted a nice 41.3 finish. Week 9, he posted a nice 39 points. In between week 3 and week 5, he did drop to 14, but then followed it by a 29, 28, dropped back down to 15. Then we had a 39. And after week 9, Russell Wilson became a disappearing act compared to what he had done the first 9 weeks of the season. He went away. He 17, 10, 17, 11, 19, 10, 11. So it wasn't the best weeks that Russell Wilson could have performed. Best weeks you could expect, especially from Russell Wilson, a team that was in the playoff race, but it's just that you ended up getting Tyler Lockett getting hurt.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the season, both the starting running backs ended up getting hurt. Chris Carson. All right. And I do not remember the name of oh my goodness. How do I was a Chris Carson owner. Rashad Penny. The Penny. Yeah. Yes. He was the one that was backing him up.
Yeah, they both got injured.
They both got injured towards the end of the season. So, and that's when you saw, because
the return Marshawn Lynch for the playoffs.
That was insane. But yeah, so once the team started getting dealing with injuries, that's where you would see more and more of Russell Wilson, not performing as great, because without I'm pretty I get the number 1 receiver on the team, Tyler Lockett, getting hurt and having to rely on a rookie, DK, who performed well towards the end of the season, right?
Yes.
But, you still had to get acclimated to the system. So it was just a great start to Russell Wilson, but the ending doesn't really reflect the start of the season.
He was even talked about as being potential MVP as well.
He was in the MVP race. He really was.
And then eventually that talk just went away.
Yeah, and then obviously Lamar Jackson just ran away with it. I mean, but hey, to finish as the third quarterback of the season, it was pretty
Really good.
really good. And then, do you think he repeats next season?
As the third,
Number 3 coming back, or where do you see him being drafted as for the 2020?
I probably see him as like the 5th,
Top 5.
top 5 quarterback to go.
Yeah, I could see around 5 to 8.
And I see him finishing as like top, like a 5th.
A 5th again.
Yeah, 5th or 6th. I don't see him as a top 3 receiver. I see
quarterback.
Yeah, my bad. Quarterback.
Top 3 quarterback. All right.
Yeah.
Number 4, Deshaun Watson plays for the Houston Texans. What do we got on him?
We have Deshaun Watson finishing with a passing yards of 3,852 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
All right. Okay. So he finished as the quarterback 4.
With a total points of 320.98.
320
points.
Nice, very nice. Now this is Deshaun Watson. He is a good quarterback.
I like him.
He is really, really good quarterback. I mean, this guy wants to be great, and you can see it when he plays. You could see it in his post-game interviews. I don't know if you saw. I forgot who it was against, but they had lost the game, and this guy stayed in the stadium on the field, pretty much redoing plays by himself on the field to get better, seeing what went wrong. That is the type of player Deshaun Watson is. See him. I mean, he finished as a quarterback 4, which is not bad at all. But that is not. He's Dak Prescott. He could easily be Dak Prescott. He could finish as number 2 quarterback, number 3 quarterback, top 3 definitely for sure.
I think next year he's gonna finish as the top 3.
Because I mean we still have Patrick Mahomes to talk about, and yeah, so I'm pretty sure Deshaun Watson will definitely be drafted again as a top 5 quarterback and finish well within that top 5. His lowest points of the season came in week 11, where he actually did hurt your fantasy team. He only posted up 5 points. So that if you played him that week, more than not, he hurt you. But he had a high week of week 5 of 41 points, and from there on, it averaged between around 12 points and 31 points. Just a variant between there. More often than not, though, scoring above his projected totals, fantasy finishes, and averaging 22 points per game. So again, Deshaun Watson, because he does give you that rushing baseline. He does through the air. You have DeAndre Hopkins on a team who is one of the best in the game and the wide receiver position. Will Fuller, if he could stay healthy, he's threat. Really good. Yes. He is quick. He is fast. That is a quarterback's dream. Look at Tyreek Hill look at the whole wide receiver with the wide receiver trio with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, which he's fast, but okay, whatever. And Mecole Hardman. All those guys are quick. They could get down the field. That is what Will Fuller is. So if he doesn't keep pulling his hamstring, he could help Deshaun Watson in that aspect. And more air yards, more passing touchdowns. And the guy could run too. He's a mobile quarterback, escape the pocket. So just doing more of that, easily finishes top 5. And it will definitely be giving our own projections as well, as far as where do we feel that our top 10 aside from this list. Like for me, Dak Prescott is not going to be in my top 10. Saying it right now. He might be. Right now? Might be. For sure. Like 8 or 9, but like definitely not number 2 quarterback.
No.
All right.
But we'll save that for later.
We'll save that for later. Now, this quarterback was extremely fun to watch this season. Sir Jameis Winston, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh. Let's listen to those awesome stats, please.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Passing yards, 5,109 yards. This is no joke. Touchdowns, 33 touchdowns. 33 touchdowns. You want to hear the interceptions?
Let's hear those interceptions.
30 interceptions.
30 interceptions. And
he finished top 5.
He finished the 5th quarterback of the season.
with 305 total fantasy points.
305. Now, that is, I believe in our league, each interception takes away 2 points.
You're the commish, bro.
I believe it is 2 points. It's a point or 2 points. Nonetheless,
I don't think it's any higher than 2 points.
Yeah, so say it was 1 point per interception. He got 30. So give him 30 more points. Where would he have ended up?
He 330. He finished as number 3, beating Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. Okay, now say it's 2. Give him 360.
360. He would finish as the number 2.
Numbers, and then that's saying that he gets no interceptions. Obviously, he probably would have thrown anywhere between 5 and 10. An average quarterback is not throwing 30 interceptions for the season. This is why I'm saying he was most fun quarterback to watch. If you had him as your quarterback for a good amount of time, each week would start horribly. He always start. I think he went at like 2-3 weeks where he started with a pick. And if you're a fantasy owner and you have Jameis Winston as your starting quarterback, it was horrible to experience Jameis Winston. But hey, by the end, you're happy. You're like, hey, he posted really good weeks. Week 4, 30 points, 12, 26. He had 14 at 37, 15 at 33. You know, his average was 21 finish, which is pretty good. But he had those weeks where he just went off. The only thing that was holding back was interceptions. You know, just get rid of those interceptions. You could find yourself a very, very successful fantasy quarterback. And just that's with anybody, you know. But 30 interceptions, bro.
And plus, he has amazing targets. You know, he has Chris Godwin,
and
Mike Evans, bro. Like, who else do you want?
That is,
you have Cameron Bray at tight end and OJ Howard at tight end.
Yeah, but like just
with those 2 receivers on your own.
Mike Evans, and he's for a while. You know, Mike Evans has been seen as one of the top 5 receivers in the league. Now you're adding Chris Godwin, who had a blowout of a season. You know, it was insane seeing. I ended up owning Mike Evans for a part of the season. So it was kind of annoying having to see all those targets in the beginning of the season go to Chris Godwin, you know. So having those 2 receivers with Jameis Winston, very beneficial. Again, he is a free agent during this offseason, so seeing if I'm pretty sure he will stay. They'll give him probably just one more shot and then go from there. That's right. Jameis Winston, but Jameis Winston was... Oh, man, you were stressing out.
Yeah. Let's talk about the next person, bro. This is your boy.
I've been since last season. During this past, I didn't draft him on my team because I was hoping for something else. But I vouched for this guy early on, and one of my buddies actually took my advice and put him on his team. But Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, I have such high hopes for him. Because he has an arm and because he can run.
Right.
Go ahead and give me his stats. What do we got?
We have 3,089 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and rushing yards, as you bring it up, 510 rushing yards. And look at this. 9 touchdowns rushing for a total point of 288 fantasy points.
Enough said.
Yeah, that was really good.
Josh Allen, I see him next year definitely in the top 5 to 8 consideration. Finishing, will he be drafted as that? I don't think so. He did finish as number 6 quarterback. Excuse me. Again, pretty consistent. Season, mostly performing at his projected stats, averaging 19 points. He did have 1 week where it was a 33-point week 11, as opposed to his projected 18.8. So, again, why I like Josh Allen so much is because the team is drawing up plays for him to run. They want him to be that mobile quarterback. They want him to be the Lamar Jackson of the team. They want him to be the Patrick Mahomes. They want him to run. he has improved vastly with his accuracy as a quarterback as opposed to his first year because he was throwing interceptions left and right. Last year, this past season, he performed pretty well. You know, it was Josh Allen is just I see him improving.
Right.
Keeping going up. He's gonna keep going up. I don't see him slowing down. The team's gonna acquire weapons to help him, and I love this guy, this player. I've been following him for a minute, and I definitely see him performing pretty well next season. I find his finish justifiable for him, 6, but hey, he's only can go better from here for him.
Yeah, and like you're saying, they're building a system around him.
Exactly.
They're not forcing him into a system. They're building a system for him, designed for him, in order for him to succeed as a quarterback, to be the Lamar Jackson of the team, to be the Patrick Mahomes, like that type of quarterback. And from what this season showed, they did really good. Buffalo Bills,
they
had a
up
good
with the
season.
Patriots. They kept up with the Patriots
I was hoping they won the division.
For a second there, it seemed like the Bills were going to take the division. So it was the Bills had a good run. Josh Allen, he will definitely be draft consideration for like the top 8 at least. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to add for Josh Allen?
I think he's gonna do great. I see him doing better than the position he is right now. I think he's gonna do much better than top 6.
Definitely.
I wouldn't say top 3, but 4, 1 or two more places up.
Right.
So,
all right.
See it.
Next up at quarterback number 7, the NFL Super Bowl champion himself, NFL Super Bowl MVP, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback.
Mr. Patrick Mahomes
for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Bro,
it was a letdown, man.
Really?
Letdown.
Season?
No. Compared to the season he posted the year prior for the 2018 NFL fantasy football season to this one, letdown. People drafted him.
Okay.
People drafted Patrick Mahomes to do what Lamar Jackson did. You drafted him in the 3rd round to get what Lamar Jackson. Whereas as far as Lamar Jackson, he was drafted in the 8th round. And look at these. Lamar Jackson drafted in the 8th, finishes number 1. Patrick Mahomes drafted in the 3rd, finishes as a number 8.
Big difference.
Huge difference. He did have those 2 weeks where he was out, didn't play. So you can't hold that against him because he did get hurt. And in week 7 when he got hurt against the Broncos.
And he had that Madden curse, man.
He broke the Madden curse, dude. He broke it. He won.
He had the Madden curse temporary.
And it sounds like I'm saying that he was a total bust. He was not. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Yeah. He wasn't a bust. He performed pretty well. He had 27, 31, 27. Another high of week 10, 29. The rest of the weeks in the 20s, around there, give or take 2 points, around the 20s. No, he had a good season as a quarterback. I'm just saying that for what you drafted him to be, that is not what you ended up getting with Patrick Mahomes, especially if you waste a 3rd round pick when you could get a top tier receiver or a top tier running back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That would have affected
It affects your draft, and then you obviously you feel good when you draft Patrick Mahomes. You're like, yeah, look at my team, but I got Patrick Mahomes.
At the time
when you drafted, I got Pat Mahomes. He's on my team. But again, because you drafted him at such a high round, I feel like you didn't get what you wanted for.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you might have you still did pretty well, but not what you wanted. You were let down more than not.
Correct.
Because especially with how these other quarterbacks were performing, the running. But again, Patrick Mahomes, he'll be back next season, I'm sure. For him to finish in the top 8, missing practically 3 games. Where as far as these other quarterbacks, they played full season, finishing as the number 8 running back, not bad at all. Pretty good. Patrick Mahomes, he will be back. I'm seeing him projecting him to be a top 3 next year, especially with those weapons on the team. And yeah, so I don't think top 8 finish was where you expect to see him for next season.
Right.
You expect him to see him top 5, top 3.
I agree with you.
So shall we move on?
Let's move on. Let's see who's next.
Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray. I'm actually hoping for a blow up
Of Kyler Murray?
What's the term? Is it a blow up? It's not a blow up, but you know what I mean. I expect him to jump, to rise.
Okay.
You know, to take the next step from a rookie quarterback. Take the next step and be in the top 5 conversation draft quarterbacks. Just seeing Kyler Murray play, you know, when he finally was getting comfortable running, getting comfortable throwing the ball. Let's read off his stats real quick.
3,722 total passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 544 rushing yards with 4 rushing touchdowns. Finished with 285 total fantasy points.
285. Yeah, so again,
For a rookie.
For a rookie, I mean, his 2 worst weeks came in week 7 and 8. 7 points and 10 points. And probably his best weeks came in when I believe he played against the 49ers. Those were his best weeks of the season, where he posted if I could let me see if I could pull up his game logs real quick. Against the 49ers, because I remember seeing a stat. You see week 11 and week 9. So week 11 he posted 26. Week 9 he posted 23 points against a really, really, really good San Francisco defense. And for a rookie to do that to the 49ers, who at that time were undefeated, I'm sure, just taking down teams left and right, the defense stopping all these quarterbacks from being able to run on them, you know. So he did that as a rookie. And again, I expect them to just blow up and get better and take that next step as a rookie not a rookie anymore.
Yeah, and with a rookie system, you know, like Arizona Cardinals with a rookie coach, rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm. That air raid with Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, there was just a lot of things that like you didn't expect Kyler
exactly.
Murray to do great.
So yeah,
and for him to finish as a top 8 quarterback, I think that's really good.
Really good. So I honestly, again, I see him taking the next step, and I do see him as a top 5 for next season.
Really?
Yes.
I see him finishing in like top 10.
Around
the same area that he's still in, you know?
I mean, if the team gets better and, you know, as far as like acclimating to the system, the air raid offense, which Kingsbury, the coach, is trying to run, I'm pretty sure he'll do really well.
Yes, sir.
Number 9, my boy, Aaron Rodgers, who I'll admit, as for fantasy,
horrible
fantasy season. Horrible fantasy season. His big, beautiful, perfect QBR game where he threw for 5 touchdowns came in week 7, where you thought Aaron Rodgers is back. This is Aaron Rodgers. We got him back, boys. He finished with 43 points. That was all you heard from him the rest of the season. He followed that up with the 27. After that, 28. Everything other than that was below 20 points.
Yeah. You want to hear stats?
Not really, but go for it.
Your boy. Total passing yards. 4,002 passing yards.
Okay.
26 touchdowns.
All right.
And 4 interceptions.
Lowest of the league, I believe. Lowest in the league in interceptions.
We'll fact check that later. And finish with a total of 278 total fantasy points. Yes. Like you said, for fantasy points, it's not a big bang for your buck.
No, it really isn't, especially because people.
But those stats, like that's a really good stat. 26
stats.
touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Well,
because of the amount of yards, you expect more touchdowns. I believe more yards to touchdown ratio could be vastly, improved in that aspect. I feel Aaron Rodgers was drafted to be one of those week-to-week reliable quarterbacks, scoring you those 20-plus points every week. He clearly did not return on that at all. And the reason people are going to continue to draft him as that quarterback is because of the name Aaron Rodgers. You hear Aaron Rodgers and you're thinking, boom, 3 touchdown week games. You know what I mean? He's going out. But the thing is, especially with what are his weapons? Davante Adams at receiving, that is it. You experimented with MVS. You experimented with Geronimo. You have Alan Lazard posting some good games, 2 or 3 of them. Other than Adams, you had nothing. And he was out for a good portion of the season because of his turf toe. At the running game, you had Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, who were excellent pass-catching running backs. But you can't rely on them all the time. So Aaron Rodgers, as the resident Packer fan, I expect him to improve in year 2 with Matt LaFleur. And then I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible because I am hoping the team will go and acquire good receiving players to help because Rodgers didn't have any weapons. Yeah. Like literally look at the look at who he throws to. It was always Davante Adams with like 80 receptions.
Yep.
Next was Aaron Jones with like 50 or something like that.
Yep. You hit it dead on. Davante Adams, 83 total receptions, and Aaron Jones, 49 total receptions. See, so it's a huge gap.
Where's the next receiver?
It's a huge gap.
That's where you see a receiver. That's where you see a tight end. Jimmy Graham, he's done. Get him off the team. Why is he still there? I can go on and on about this, and this is for fantasy. Check out my side podcast coming out. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's not what you asked for with it, what you wanted, and all you can hope for is for a bounce back year. And I hope we get it. Will we see it? Depending what to do this offseason. Ask me again in a few months.
Yeah,
and I'll let you know.
I think that's the big question. What are they going to do
exactly
in the offseason?
Yes.
And if they don't do anything, then I will just tell you now, Aaron Rodgers will not finish as a top 10 receiver with the same system that they are in.
Why are you breaking my heart right now?
It's just as good as a quarterback he is. It's
yes,
like he can't do it.
I agree with you. He can't. Yeah. He with the weapons, he needs weapons. He needs help.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go ahead and close this off with the number 10 quarterback of the 2019 fantasy football season, Carson Wentz of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's make it quick, bro, because I don't have much to talk about Wentz. I'm kidding. We'll talk. All
right, let's bring up his stats. Go for it.
So Carson Wentz, 4,039 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 243 rushing yards with 1 touchdown. Total fantasy points, 275 total fantasy points. I'm not a big Carson Wentz fan.
Okay.
I preferred Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Nick Foles, and I was disappointed with Philadelphia's selling Nick Foles. Yeah. Carson Wentz gets injured, bro. He's injury prone. He gets injured every season.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not his fault. His line is just horrible, but
so he averaged 18 points, which again it's average for a quarterback. I personally like the Eagles team.
Okay.
I'm not a fan like diehard fly Eagles fly type of thing. No. I like the team. So coming into the season, I was very excited for Carson Wentz. And after seeing what happened, Deshaun Jackson goes down. Alshon Jeffrey goes down. All these injuries start piling up, one after the other. What do you do when your top 2 receivers go out? What do you do when you don't have a set running back? You're still experimenting with your rookie, trying to see what we got from him, and bringing in Jordan Howard from the Bears, seeing what you got with him. You just don't have the options, which again, that argument can be made for a lot of quarterbacks don't have the weapons, yada, yada, yada. Right. But I'm saying this as, I guess, a Wentz apologist and saying he is better than what this season showed. Yes, I agree with you 100%. He is injury prone. I agree with that. But as far as him not being good, not any of that, I don't agree. I believe he can perform at a top tier, not elite, at a top tier level for a quarterback, meaning that top 8, top 10. I mean, because top 10, you're still a technical. Well, for us that we play in a 10-team league, top 10 that is technically QB1. So he can't perform at a QB1, but for him to be able to do that, are you going to
be drafting him? As
are you drafting? You draft because of the potential and the players you're getting back. You drafting him in the top 10.
Right.
Definitely top 10 off the board, not top 5, but top 10, pretty much at the 10 is where I see him for next season. But one can hope.
I disagree, my friend.
Yeah, and
but
you're wrong. I'm just
kidding.
No, again, and again, that's just coming because I like Carson Wentz. I like the team, the players they have. You know, with Deshaun Jackson, Jeffrey, Miles Sanders, up and coming. You know, Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert at tight end. You know, they have a decent offensive core. You know, but it's just they just got to get it done now. Prove my friend Oscar here wrong, Wentz. Please. If you're listening to us, please prove him wrong, and more importantly, prove me right. So that will wrap up the top 10 quarterbacks. We did go on a little longer than expected, so if you did stick around to the end,
thank you.
Appreciated, much appreciated. That tends to happen when you're just talking about stuff that you're very into, and we're hoping that you guys are along for the ride with that. So with that will conclude episode number 2 this fine evening. Be sure to follow us on all our social media handles on Twitter and Instagram at FF After Hours. Again, that is FF After Hours. And on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe there at Fantasy Football After Hours. Again, we are working on getting the video format of this up on YouTube, but for now it's just audio. And then follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and more to come soon. Do you have anything to add to close out?
No, sir. Just blessed. Blessed to be here.
That's it. All right. Well, again, thank you all for listening. Be sure to tune in next week where we will talk about the top 10 wide receivers for the 2019 fantasy season and any other news that comes out during the week. I believe that's going to do it.
Let's go.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.